Hi YouTube, Brian White here on my path to Paphos, another video in the series Path to Paphos. And you'll be thinking yourself, have you not got there yet? Well, no, I don't actually go out there. I plan to go out there on the first week in March 2025. So at the moment, this is still my path to Paphos, but it's where I've been doing an awful lot of my thoughts, and hopefully you've been able to join me and appreciate where my thought patterns are lying, and maybe, just maybe, give you some ideas for what you can do. And this is one video which I want to do, which is hopefully for ideas for you, because it's something I've looked at very closely. Now, I'm 63 years old. My wife has just turned 60, so we are both over 60. And we've had a few discussions with people as to why being over 60 is an ideal time to relocate to a different country. So let's have a little look at some of the thoughts that's gone through my head and through Sue's head as to why we want to relocate. Well, first of all, I mean, you've seen some of my videos about why I'm so disenfranchised with the UK at the moment. It's a dystopian, it's an over-governed, over-expensive place to work, which is now quite soul-destroying to be in. And as time goes by, I just can't wait to get out. So from that point of view, the different politics and the different financial gains is certainly one reason to be out there. If you've got shares, if you've got stocks, if you have investments, and even if you've got property, the benefits insofar as taxation and government intervention on things is considerably better in most countries. The UK is now one of the most highly taxed countries for the individual person in the world. And yes, there are a few which have ridiculous taxation on top, but the UK is way up there. So it's not the tax haven, this fantastic tax place to live anymore. It's gone. So by going abroad as an over 60, hopefully you can make the money that you have go better. Now, talking about the money that you have, there's less need to work. I'm going to be working. I enjoy working. I enjoy doing some work. But at the same time, there's less need to work. My wife is an A&E ambulance medic in the UK. She's one of the ones you see with the blue lights flashing, flying through the city centres at breakneck speed to try and save someone's life. That's my wife. And you know, the thing is, for her, it's a huge pressure. It's a huge effort for her to do that job. It's a very difficult job, both physically and emotionally. So for her, we're looking towards her having a really enjoyable, relaxed lifestyle. So we're not looking at her having to work at all. We've both got pensions. We've both worked hard for pensions. We've worked hard all our lives. We've never been out of work. We've always, even if we haven't had a direct full-time job to go to, we've always found work, paid work to do. So we've always contributed to the UK's economy. We've always contributed to our own retirements. And this is the ideal place and time to do that. So we have less need for work and more benefits from the pensions that we have. But also with that, as I say, you've got some of the advantages of the tax breaks. And if, like me, I do intend carrying on working and maybe even starting a new business up in Cyprus, the tax breaks for those sort of things are far more favourable than staying in the UK. And I'm still going to be contributing to the country that I'm going to be living in very much, but hopefully in a less crucifying way on my financial position. Instead of going down in life financially, hopefully I'll be able to either tread water or preferably increase my standard of living fiscally. The other thing is as well, when we go across there, the weather's kinder. We're looking for somewhere where the weather's kinder. It's the beginning of November here as I'm making this video, and it's cold. I'm sitting outside with a fleece on, but I'm actually really quite cold. The only reason I'm sitting outside is because it looks a bit silly when you go inside the cafe behind, where it's nice and warm, and you're sitting talking to a camera. At least I can get away with it outside. Yeah, but it's cold, it's bleak, it's grey overhead, and it's what time? It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It's grey, it's horrible. And this is a good day because it's not pouring down rain. It's not blowing huge winds. So the weather will be kinder. Yes, you get bad days in places. We've seen all the, a little while ago, the floods in Valencia in Spain. We've seen floods in Cyprus, in Paphos, and heavy waters, and you know, you still get hailstones across in Cyprus. I've been in Cyprus when there's been hailstones before. But at the same time, it averages about 300 days of sunshine. We average about 300 days of rain over here. Now that has a detrimental take on your body as well. When you've got cold weather, when you've got bad weather, your body feels it. you know, it really does get you down. Whereas the better weather, the higher temperatures, the drier conditions really do help things like respiration. They really do help things like your muscles and the ability that you can get out and have a walk if you want to, stay fitter for longer. A lot of my problem over here is I just don't enjoy walking in the UK. I don't enjoy going out and doing any physical activity because it's unpleasant. Whereas when I go across to Cyprus, I will quite happily, just having a look, there's a train going past. I'll quite happily go out for a walk along the harbour front or along streets and villages there, because there's interesting sights, but also the weather allows it. So certainly the kind of weather, not only for the enjoyment, but also for the physical advantages it gives. Now, on the physical advantages as well, health and welfare, I've already covered about what the weather can do. But every time I've been to Cyprus, if I've needed medical care, I've got it. I've got it immediately. In the UK at the moment, I can't get an appointment with my doctor for weeks. And if I can get an emergency one through, even then it's a few days. I really have the ability to go in straight in and see a general practitioner, a local doctor. If I want to go into hospital or something, I have hours and hours and hours of queues in A&E. My daughter is a dental nurse and also a dental practice manager, and I can't even get into her practice without a week or so of pre-appointment. Whereas when I needed dental care in Cyprus, I've just walked in and been seen pretty much straight away. So certainly I think the health and welfare conditions over there are far, far better for somebody in their 60s considering going across abroad. And although I'm talking about Cyprus, I'm seeing this in almost all of the Mediterranean countries, and an awful lot in the Far East too. The other thing for me is friendship and fellowship. Now, when we first get across there, we have a few friends over there that we've already set up with, but what I do find is when I'm across in situations like that, there are groups of people who will look out for each other, and because the general attitude is happier, people walk around with smiles on their faces. I find it hard to smile here sometimes, but they walk around with smiles on their faces. People will generally be more conducive to actually interaction when the weather's nice and when it's comfortable and it's warm enough to do it, and where you're not trying to prove anything. You're not trying to keep up with the Joneses. I've been a Rotarian for a long time, been in Rotary clubs for a number of years in the UK, and I'm looking forward to getting into a Rotary club across in Cyprus and continuing the friendship and fellowship that I already have from there. But also when I'm out and about in the town or the villages, there's always somebody I manage to get into a conversation with, a chat, and we'll talk about all sorts of things. And I find it very welcoming. I find that people are very welcoming abroad. Whenever I've been in Spain or in France or in Cyprus or any of those sort of places, I found that people are more willing to have a chat with you, so long as you're willing to try and integrate yourself in. You've got to do some of the effort. It doesn't just get handed on a plate. You've got to do something. But I do find that there's an openness and a consideration to try have a conversation and just enjoy each other's company. So certainly friendship and fellowship, now that I'm over 60, is really important to me. And I think it's going to be something which is going to be important for me in my quest to relocate. Now, of course, the other thing is I'm going to a new country. Although I've been going there for many, many years, it is a whole new country to explore. There's an awful lot I've seen, but there's a huge amount more that I haven't seen over there. And I've got lots of exploring to do while I can. So being able to go out into a country where the weather's conducive to actually going out and find these things is going to be really exciting, really interesting. So I've got a huge amount of things that I can go, new adventures to find, new cultures to seek out, new cultures and new attitudes to take in. So from that's definitely a thing as an over 60-year-old, which I'm going to appreciate more by relocating to another country. And the final thing, of course, as a 60-year-old, I'm still young enough. I'm still young enough to have the medical ability to relocate. I'm still young enough to have the physical energy to relocate. And I'm still young enough to have that drive to make me want to go and find out those new things. Like I've just said, the new adventures. So being over 60 is an ideal time to go off, relocate to a new country and start that new life you've always been promising yourself. So anyway, thanks very much for watching my Path to Paphos video here. I hope that you have the interest to go and maybe consider relocating to a different country. And if you do, let me know in the comments below where you'd like to go and live. If you're already living in another country, tell me what your experiences are, especially if you're over 60. I'd love to know, because every comment that goes in below gives me a little bit more inspiration to let me know I'm doing the right thing. They are really useful. And if you've got some problems with it, again, let me know, because these are the pitfalls that I don't want to fall into when I go across there. Anyway, try and make them good comments if you can. If they're caustic comments, if they're nasty comments, I'll just delete them and I'll bar you from the channel. But most of my comments are absolutely fantastic, and I try to respond to almost everyone I possibly can. So, till the next time, this is Brian saying, look after yourself, whichever country you're going from or living in. Enjoy yourself, and I'll see you in the next video of my Path to Paphos series. Bye-bye.